I served as a United States Marine for 20 years, from 1989 to 2009. So think first Gulf War all the way through the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I was an artillery officer for the first half of my career. And then for the second half of my career, I was very involved with the human resources development process. I was also the aide to the NATO commander, and I worked on the peace process in the Middle East. So I had a full career. I deployed to more than 50 countries in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a social impact consulting firm called ZeroMils, a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business that's been around for 3.5 years. My transition out of the military was seamless. In 2009, I actually was offered a job here in this very building at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, where I served as the Chief of Staff for 2 years. And then I found my way back to service. I actually founded and led a nonprofit right here in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation called Hiring Our Heroes, the country's largest employment program for veterans and military spouses. It's helped hundreds of thousands of veterans and spouses find jobs across the country. And then for another 7 years after I left Hiring Our Heroes, I actually led 2 other national nonprofits that impacted 4 million service members, veterans, and their families. All told, over that decade, I raised about $100 million over 10 years for 3 different national nonprofits supporting the military and veteran community. And then 3.5 years ago, with my business partner and colleague, another retired Marine colonel, decided to start a company called ZeroMils. Our mission at ZeroMils is to create military thriving cultures and communities. Military families, veterans, military spouses, they bring value to the workforce. They bring value as small business owners and local economies. They bring value as civic assets that volunteer at much higher rates than our civilian counterparts. So it's time to stop saying you're military friendly, and it's time to create thriving cultures and communities that not only attract veterans, military spouses, and their families to your company, to your university, to your community, but keeps them for the long haul by creating environments where they can thrive. We're in a time in America where the skills gap is 10.5 million unfilled jobs. When I started Hiring Our Heroes in 2011, veteran unemployment was at 10% nationally, 30% for veterans under the age of 24. The skills gap was only 3.5 million jobs. Fast forward to today, veteran unemployment is at 3% nationally, lower than civilians for the last 12 years. Month after month, year after year, lower than our civilian counterparts. And the skills gap has grown threefold to 10.5 million unfilled jobs. So Virginia is one of 50 states in the union that are fighting for that talent. And the reason V3 is so important is it brings the public-private sector together to work on solutions that not only hire veterans, but work on modalities and systems and structures that keep them in the state of Virginia. You have to create environments, both in companies and in communities, where our veterans and military spouses are seen as catalysts for growth, change, and impact at the local level. Virginia, where I raised 5 kids, is a place where veterans should stay. It's a place where military spouses and their families can thrive too. And that's why we are so dedicated to V3. We're so dedicated to helping employers realize those cultures and environments that help our families thrive.